I think we are live now. Hi everyone, I'm Shashi, and today we have Praveen Kumar. He is expert in full stack development. So, can you introduce yourself?
Sure, Sashi. So thanks, Shashi, for this awesome opportunity from Geeks for Geeks. I'm Praveen, and my full name is Praveen Kumar Purushothaman. I'm originally from India, Chennai. Currently, I'm staying and working, not exactly working. I'll be
Mhm.
looking forward to work from next week in London. So I've got a decade of experience in full stack web application development for the past working with a lot of different companies. I did my master's in cloud computing in University of Leicester and got a distinction as well. Um, I started my career with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the olden days, Bootstrap,
Mhm.
jQuery, etc. And now currently I've been using React, Redux, and React Native for reactive programming and reactive development. My core development skills lies on MERN stack, where I would like to correct. Yum is not for MongoDB but for MySQL, and also I was working with Perm stack as well. So these are the two things which I'm very much interested in. I was working previously with LAMP stack. So for those people who are still the fan of PHP, hey, I support you. I was also writing my own framework, which was inspired from this Laravel, Symfony, etc. So I felt that those are like really heavy, so I wrote my own framework in PHP, and it is still, even now it is being used in a couple of different projects. Um, then I have been working with a lot of continuous integration, continuous delivery tools, and containerization like Vagrant, Docker, Kubernetes, etc. I've got like this huge OCD on the CSS part because I've been working for about like 10 years now. So
Okay.
there was this Internet Explorer 6 era where there was this box model was first introduced for Internet Explorer, and after that it came to Chrome, Firefox, etc. So from that time onwards, I was like completely beaten in my first company, and getting the
Okay.
right pixel perfect CSS, so that actually became a OCD on me. I'm
Mhm.
also a passionate mentor, so that's the reason I'm here, guys. So any questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask in the comments or chat. Shashi is gonna get the comments to me, and I'm happy to answer everything. So the main driving factors for me is like, I'm still um the Stack Overflow, the when I was working with Stack Overflow, like answering a lot of questions, I learn a lot. So that is one of the best tips I could give you. So with that being said, I have been a huge contributor for almost a lot of Stack Overflow questions based on JavaScript. So I ranked about like top 0.01% overall contributors even now. And SEO, heard of it?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
anyone, if you go for Stack Overflow Praveen in Google, mine will be the first link, so you can have a quick look at my profile. So I'm also a mentor in different companies or institutes like Hack Hands, which was a part of Plural Site, and then it's been like closed down. I was a top ranker in that, and then I'm also mentoring currently, like volunteering in Thinkful, Girl Script, Girl Coded, the Girl Code, etc. I've been also like starting something like with a couple of students in India called as Internville, and it is also going great. And I was talked by Microsoft and awarded the most prestigious Microsoft MVP award. So this is one of the
Mhm.
things which you guys can do. Like, try to show your best things on the internet, and you can be like, you can be the gem of employers, and they might either award you with their prestigious awards, or they can also give you a job offer, which is actually a good thing, because I backed up 2 to 3 job offers through my contributions in Stack Overflow and other things. And that's something which I was doing a lot. And also, apart from that, I've been also working on a couple of other things, like for example, um, I'm like a crazy fan of, like, hackathons and hacker culture. So I've been working with Facebook, like, when I was like submitting my dissertation in my University of Leicester. So I studied in University of Leicester, right? I um, did my master's in cloud computing in the UK. I came here. So the main thing which I had a problem was with the companies I worked with back in India. The first thing was like they kind of like rip you off of your freedom by taking away the access to personal sites like um, Google, Facebook, sorry, Gmail, Facebook, etc. Uh, you don't believe, when I was working previously, they did not give me the access to Stack Overflow even. So how do you think as a programmer I could like try to find out, fix something? And I was like also like a junior programmer during those times, and so I thought there should be some kind of like relaxation from the big companies. So I just asked them out, what exactly is your problem? Why are you not allowing us access to Facebook or maybe Twitter those times? And they give this crazy reason saying that our data might go out, employees might misuse, and the productivity might get lost. I was like thinking, why can't you create something on your own in your own premises? So I just tried to propose the solution. It is called as social. And what I generally do in this is, um, there is this self-hosted, it's a self-hosted gamified environment. So first thing, the data stays with you, then it's going to be internal to your employees, so there could not be any misuse, and no diversions can happen as well. So it kind of like solved everything, and this was my dissertation. So I did my dissertation in like was it July 2015? Sorry, July 2015 I graduated. May 2015 I submitted my dissertation, and July 2015 Facebook came up with this at workplace, and it was like eerily similar, and I get to have a chance with them and talk to them like for a week's time. And then at that time onwards, I was introduced to something called as React JS and JSX, and later it was now like it's going great, like React JS and stuff like that. And from that time onwards, I've become a huge fan. Although initially I hated the concept of JSX with JavaScript and XML being combined, but nowadays if you like use it correctly and use it in the right way, it's gonna be the awesome thing. Apart from that, um, I'm a hackathon hunter. I'm an open source contributor, which you can see from my GitHub presentations and sorry contributions. I was an Accenture ambassador as well, so I've been like saying like they have asked me about my experience with Accenture. So I was working with Accenture in UK for the first 2.5 years. Then after that, I worked with a couple of startups, and then now I'm here waiting for my next job. The one more thing which I would say is like I've been so passionate about React, but I kind of like forgot to see the other areas of it. For example, React Native and TypeScript are something that goes in hand with them, and most of the companies are looking forward for people with who claim React developers. They will ask for the next two things: do you know TypeScript? Do you know React Native? So for that, what I generally do is I'll just go with I tried to study, I tried to like teach people on those two topics, but I was not able to do. So what I thought was, let me write a book on these two, so that my knowledge in these two areas will be perfect, and I can tell this, saying that this is a good proof of me knowing what exactly I'm doing. So I started writing a book on each, and it will be soon published. This is one of the best ways to like get your fears out of a technology or something that you wanted to proceed or carry on. And apart from this, I'm a passionate blogger. I write a lot of guest blogs. I even started blogging recently. Though you could also see me live. Hi. And other than that, my hobbies include cooking, playing badminton, and I'm a cat lover. So that's me.
Okay, yeah, that's really great. So basically, he's an expert in React.js and Node.js. So he's a expert full stack developer, right? So
Yeah.
the first question is, I mean, what is the scope of full stack development? Like, what is the job market, for a full stack developer?
I can talk about UK as well as India, and definitely a bit of US. And
Mhm.
US wise, I don't have any practical knowledge. It's just theoretical knowledge, but people can actually, confirm whether whatever I'm talking is right or wrong. So nowadays,
Okay.
full stack development is in huge demand. That's for sure. Companies need full stack developers because of several reasons. they can actually work with multiple technologies, so they can handle more aspects of a project than an average programmer, right? And also, as from the company's point of view, they can also cut costs for companies, because uh, where there will be like two people working on a particular thing, uh, one person can handle the whole thing, right? So that's something which is really looked upon by the companies. And also, the average salary for a full stack developer in India is about like starting from 6.5 lakhs per annum, and it goes up to 16 to like even 25 lakhs for people who are having a good experience. And if you come to UK, that's where I work at, the starting salaries are like 40K, which is 40 lakhs per annum, and it can go up to 100K, which is a crore. And apart from that, the main reason why I would say like you guys need to go with full stack development is, a lot of people who are good with front end, they could learn something new on the back end. That's the counterpart. And those people who are in the back end, they can just show their face in the front end as well. So front end is definitely interesting for people who are in the back end. It will be like, even though it is a bit tough for the fresh people, like who are migrating from the back end, they will be definitely finding it very interesting and enthusiastic about it. The other way, if I say, for people who are looking to go into the back end from front end, like full stack from front end, they would be looking at logics, doing a lot more which you wanted to do in the front end. For example, we would be trying, okay, we are in the front end, we want to like do a lot of things that a browser cannot do: writing files, accessing databases, storing something, logging in stuff, etc. We would be using some kind of an API which we don't know what's going to happen in the behind, right? So those kind of things we can achieve when we try to learn backend. And also, for front end people, the basics of front end is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you want to learn backend, you don't need to learn a new language. JavaScript is also available in backend. For example, you can use Node.js to create API servers. You can start a Jamstack with React.js. You have got a full stack application already. So um, these are good things. And it has a huge demand and a steady growth in all the countries, Western countries, or as well as Indian markets. So um, what else I could say? Um, Anything related to JavaScript is actually embracing this term called change is not the only thing that change is the only thing that always changes, and JavaScript always changes. For example, if I learned something like last week, no, yesterday, that is obsolete right now. So in that speed, it is getting changed. So yeah, keep learning.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, why one should go for React.js with Node.js for the full stack?
Okay,
Like we
so
have other options, like for front end we have other framework like
Angular.
AngularJS. For backend we have Java backend, Python backend.
Okay.
So why this is the best combination?
Hopefully, there are no recruiters watching this, and
Yeah.
even if you are watching, that's completely fine. Personally, I hate Java. I don't know why. See, if you, I started with my career, or like my life, with PHP, because during my eighth standard, I started my first PHP code. So at that point of time, all I need to write for displaying something is echo whatever you want to write. It gets displayed, right? What about Java? And Shashi, I know that you are a Java person, right? Sorry, if I'm offending you.
No,
Very
that's
sorry
that's
about
fine.
that.
That's fine.
Just for running a Java servlet or like a server, you need to have a first thing, you need to write a Java file, which is starting with a class, public static void main string args. Then you need to import some pretty bunch of things. Then you do system.out.println. And in case of servlets, you need to import Java X and other things, if I'm right. Then also you need to define different methods for get, post, put, delete, etc. And for each method, you need to use that out, I guess something you need to like, all these languages are typed languages. And JavaScript and PHP in particular, they are not typed languages. They use this concept called duck typing. And being a lazy person, I don't want to create like a string or something like that, or create a class for every single thing. So that's something which I would be happy about. That's what I was trying to say. So in this way, I feel like JavaScript is very easy in terms of like writing code, and at the same time, yes, there is a lot of catch here where you might be getting into trouble, right? So that is also there. I completely agree with people, but the one thing is, it is like a it is for the lazy people like me. I'm definitely a lazy person who tries to make complete the work as quick as possible. I don't want to keep coding a lot, or like, I follow this principle called DRY, don't repeat yourself. So that's the reason I took React. And one more thing is, when it comes to different frameworks, well, I really need to say this one: React is not a framework, it is just a JavaScript library. So like something like jQuery, React is also a library. But Angular is a framework. Vue.js, I believe it's a framework. I'm not sure about Vue.js, but for Angular, I know that I can see a lot of people, fuming about Java here. And
By the way,
sorry, man, I
I'm
shouldn't
also
see that.
Java lover, so
Yeah, I should be looking at I shouldn't be looking at the chat. Really, live comments are really like people are like, fuming about Java, and this is the reason. This is I mean, like, it looks like everyone is sharing my feel as well in this case. So that's one thing. Okay, apart from this, let me directly answer your question. Angular, React, and Vue, these are the three things that are like currently competing with them. I guess I heard of Svelte and other things, other frameworks are also coming up. But let's talk about these three things. These three things are the main, the top three things that are like in the top level, top tier of war. So if you consider Angular or Vue, they are kind of like frameworks. And let's say you run a WordPress website on a small restrictive server. Most of the website servers, and that's the reason, guys, I'm telling you, PHP is still living, and it is actually good. And don't kill me for this. This is the fact. I really did a fact check, and 97% of the servers websites are running on PHP, and out of that 97%, around 80% are using the vulnerable version of WordPress as well. So we need to actually educate these people and try to get them move to React and Node. That's another story. So comparing with Angular, Vue, and React, Angular and Vue are frameworks, but React is a library, as I said you before. And let's say if you are running a WordPress website, or let's say some kind of like OpenCart or WooCommerce website, where the whole thing is completely limited, you can use React on it, like by just putting a small script snippet. But Angular wise, I don't think it is possible. This is my personal feedback or personal opinion. I don't know whether it is possible with Angular by adding a single script tag or something like that, but with React it is possible. And comparingly with the developers and how good they can easily learn things using React or Angular or Vue, I feel like React has a smooth learning curve. You don't need much effort to learn React, and it is very quick to learn and very easy to learn. And if you come from a HTML background, and if you are from a JavaScript, Angular JS background, Vue will be a good choice, because Vue combines the goodness of Angular as well as goodness of React, and then it combines together. And that's the reason I am not in a favor of Vue as well. So when I started working with Vue, I actually created a lot of things in both Vue as well as React, and Vue seemed to be very complicated for me in terms of like data separation. But for people who are coming from a typed language, like for example Java, Python, .NET, etc., so those people might find Vue and Angular with TypeScript better and comfortable than React.js. So it's all about the people's acceptance of how they wanted to work. For beginners, I will definitely suggest going with pure JavaScript and React, and start with JavaScript, jQuery, understand how DOM works, and then moving on to this reactive synthetic DOM, virtual DOM kind of thing. It will be making a lot more
yeah.
sense.
The my next question is like how one should start learning the front end, how someone can master that, and then how someone should start learning the back end thing so that he can be a complete full stack developer.
Yes, definitely. So for Learning JavaScript or learning front end, it would be really helpful if you start with the basics of HTML and CSS, where you will be learning about the semantic tags, what tags to use where, um, and see, ultimately you have to make your website accessible. That's one thing is there. And the another thing is about CSS. That is kind of like most of the trickiest part, because you have a lot of differences between the browsers that you use. You have Internet Explorer, which are bit tricky to handle. You have Edge, this is better than Internet Explorer but still tricky. You have Firefox and Chrome, they are like competing with each other. And you have this awesome Safari, which is the Internet Explorer for Mac. So that's kind of the different ecosystems of browsers. And each browser will have different rendering engine, so it makes CSS really hard. But for people who are just starting to work on front end, they will find it a bit of a smooth ride, while the backend people who are transitioning from Python or Java, they might find it a bit difficult. This is my personal opinion, which I saw through training people, students, professionals who come from a Java backend basically. And I do have a few couple of my friends who say like, oh, I need to. I was telling them, learn React JS, learn Node JS. That's gonna be the future. Even though I don't know if that is true, I keep motivating people to learn React and Node JS. And for that, a few students they. I know that it's not their fault, but they say, I'm just starting to learn Java, let me finish Java, only then I will be able to learn JavaScript. That is completely no, that's not a right thing, guys, because it is, if you are comparing Java with JavaScript, it's like you are comparing ham with a hamburger or Hamburg. Three things are totally different. Ham is like, um, I don't know, even I don't know. So definitely hamburger and Hamburg is not the same, right? Hamburger is something that people eat. Hamburg is a country, so something like that, or maybe a city, I don't know. So yeah, so this is how the current scenario is. And yeah, hope that answered the question, or is it still um, confused?
Yeah, I mean
Or
that is fine. Yeah. So what about the backend development? I mean, how once we start the
Um, I'm not a great fan of like other I mean, other than anything other than JavaScript, because it doesn't come to
okay.
me. But still, I would suggest people to go for Python. Python is actually really going for the trend, and it is hitting the top. Like JavaScript and Python are the now top two things. Um, Last few months ago, it was JavaScript and top one. Now it is Python and top one. And the few months ago it was like vice versa, JavaScript for rank 1, Python for rank 2. Now Python for rank 1 and JavaScript for rank 2. So you can actually verify these facts from Stack Overflow trends, how the job salaries and job profiles, career aspects, everything, you can have a look at it. Everything is factual information which I am currently telling, so I have verified it before telling this. So sorry Sashi, I kind of like
Yeah.
got confused with your question. Can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, I mean, if you can describe the step-by-step path to learn the backend in Node.js only. So,
Okay, so first thing is, for whoever has an interest in artificial intelligence, Python, machine learning, and if you know a bit of Python, please go for Python, because you have a huge future. But for those people who are like me, who kind of like, I tried Python but I don't, kind of like I'm not able to get it into my head, please come here. JavaScript has its own backend version, which is Node.js. And Node.js has, like, the best throughput. It's faster than Java. That's what even I will tell now, even now. But people will be disagreeing with me. So if you kind of like take any of these bank websites, they're all using this legacy Java based framework. No, I don't want to name anything. Literally every bank, even the banks in the UK or banks in India, all the leading banks, everything. If you see the online portals, they use JSF, Java Server Faces, I guess. And Shashi, you can actually tell this, right?
yeah, I
Almost
mean, they
all.
use the servlet and Spring in all the Java technologies, like, yeah, so
So
those.
my personal feedback is almost all these bank websites are very slow. So, and moreover, I have seen a lot of, like, even I was a Java developer in like maybe last decade. So after hating Java, that's the time when I switched to my front end. I know that I'm very pretty good with PHP and MySQL, then HTML and CSS, all the front end things. But obviously, Java is one of the, like Internet Explorer for downloading Chrome kind of thing. So to get into a company, I need to know Java and stuff like that. Obviously, we were also taught Java, only Java during my seventh semester, eighth semester, etc. They expected us to learn Java and other things. So yeah, so looking at all those things right now, the only reason why Java is surviving is, it's my personal feel again. uh, the reason should be, it is legacy, and almost all the banks are using Java, and you cannot get rid of Java. So if there, I mean, the reason why I was saying this is, there are like couple of companies who approached me in what do you say, in UK. They wanted to like completely rebuild their architecture, system architecture, and they were asking about different tools. People suggested like Go as a
Mm-hmm.
language, which is by Google, I guess, which is almost similar to Python and Dart. And Dart is becoming good. Rust is also getting a good limelight right now. So there are like multiple ways you can implement one particular language or a application. But what I would personally suggest is, if you have a team or if you have a few people, this is for the employers. If you have a team and if you have few people who are willing to work for you, make sure to try to understand their skills and technologies, what they are passionate about. So even if you see the Finacle software by Infosys, which is powering almost all the banks right now in India as well as in the UK, a couple of banks, it is written completely in Java. And the same thing I was able to create using JavaScript, Node.js, and React a month ago. I just wanted to try what will happen if I try to do that. And when I tried to use like around 100,000 records, that was the maximum I could do with my Mac. So when I
Mm-hmm.
tried to use around like a lakh of records, I couldn't find any possible like speed difference or performance issues when it was compared with the same machine with a Java backend. It was like bit slow, or maybe the way I implemented was not right, because I don't know much like deep into Java. But comparingly, Java versus JavaScript, the development time is quicker, easier, very fun in JavaScript than Java. And finally, I would say Node.js has a like a faster throughput times, faster response times, and you can use like microservices, etc. And then you can also split everything into Docker, Kubernetes, like containerization, and all you need to do is just one click and you will deploy everything in the live. So these are things possible both in Java as well as JavaScript. But comparingly, the development effort will be very less in JavaScript, and quickly we can do a lot of things.
Okay, so we'll be taking some question from the live chat. So the one
Sure.
question is Redux or Context API?
That's $1 million question, Dre. But okay, let's look at it. So Redux, I started with Redux initially. It is a state management in React applications, and almost all the reactive programming languages like Angular, Vue, everywhere you can use Redux. So when you know Redux and when you learn Redux, you can actually implement it in multiple languages. That is one kind of an advantage. While context API is still in its it's still in its mature stage. Right now it is becoming stable now. And the only thing which I personally feel is, when you are using context API with functional components, it's easier to learn and understand. While if you are using context API with state components, which I don't think most of them are using class components right now, uh, that becomes a bit of a confusion or something like that. I feel context API is a bit convoluting and a new concept to learn, while we have been working on a lot of Redux based connected components and stuff like that. So I would say Redux is really better in that chance. I mean, if you have a good experience with Redux, then Redux is good. Whereas context is a bit convoluting and stuff like that. Other people have also seen like Redux or MobX.
MobX, yeah.
Very sorry, I haven't. I did see MobX is performing really good similar to Redux, but I have not got much experience with MobX. A lot of people are saying like there is also this particular thing. If since a lot of people are suggesting Redux is good, there are a lot of wrappers for Redux, like something called as Redux Leaves. That is a wrapper which is written on top of Redux. Which I actually went for a webinar a couple of months ago, and that seems like making Redux very easy. Kind of thing. So, like how jQuery makes all your Ajax calls and JavaScript animations easier, it is similar to that. So, Redux is really powerful in that case, and there are like lots and lots of what do you call that, wrappers and APIs built on top of Redux, which helps you in a lot of way. So if you like context, there is also a context API for Redux, which you can use. Like we can use Redux in the context style, and obviously it goes with a huge payload. But yeah, I prefer Redux in this case, and I'm also switching to context in cases where I am working with functional components. So that's my verdict on this. Class components, Redux. Functional components, context.
Okay. That's the next problem from
Satish,
Satish. Yeah.
how long will it take to learn React JS completely? Um, I would say, like, if I don't learn anything on a day, I did not live the day. That's what I would say. I would be dead that day. So there is no reason that you stop learning. Okay, I have completely learned React. So for example, if you take me, I started React before most of the people started, because I started when React was not even released to the general public, when it was a small incubated project in Facebook. So I was working with them. I hated that, because obviously as a new language everyone hates it, because what exactly is this language doing, why is it really powerful and stuff like that. But for me, what I would say is, if you keep practicing, there is no end to learning. So if you want to master Redux, okay, at least in a decent way where you can take decisions on how you want to componentize things, it comes by practice. First thing, to learn the basics of Redux, sorry, to learn the basics of React and how to start working with React and etc., you can go with I would say, like, you can learn within a single day. um, Shashi, can I suggest any courses here? It's completely like, there might be a conflict of interest at this point. So should I or shall I not?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we have a course for full stack.
Okay,
Remember that
exactly.
one?
So yeah, that's what I was saying. So what I was trying, oh, then that's fine. So yeah, so actually myself and Shashi actually plan to release a course where
Yeah.
I'm taking the React course, which is going to be completely practical. So I was telling about a lot. I looked upon a lot of websites. You know what all websites I'm talking about. There are like around like 10 to 15 different websites which are giving a lot of video on demand courses. But the problem with them is, like, most of the websites I kind of like feel sleepy. Other websites are not that practical oriented, and some a few websites which really, they are like, some trainers are really making the best out of it. Like, they are completely practical. They kind of give you a practical guidance on how to do things. But the key part for all these things is practice. You need to, like, get your hands dirty, create a component, make it make it work, try to learn that way. That would be the best way to go for it, and that way it is easier. Like, for example, I was actually explaining a few people who asked the question. I guess it's I don't remember the name anyway. So what would be the best way to learn something? First thing is, if you have an idea, try to implement that in the place where you want to learn. For example, let's say I want to learn React completely in and out with Redux, state management, everything. So what I would do is, what is the best application that I can break and try to rebuild and try to learn? So I'll take Facebook as the example, because I exactly took Facebook as my inspiration, and then I kind of like, rebuilt everything from scratch, and then learned a language as well. So uh, uh, an example like Facebook will be a pretty huge thing. You can take something like Instagram or Twitter. Moreover, the course which I'm gonna take is gonna be creating the next Instagram for your own purpose. So we will be creating something like a software or a web application like Instagram, and then we will be looking into all the details, like how upload a picture, how to show all the photos, and how to follow each other, how to block a person. So all these things will try to explore every single area, or the every single aspect of the language as a whole. This way you will be able to learn the language. Hope this helps. But this is a complete process which cannot be completed, like there is no definite time. But if you want to learn the basics, well, you have the 16 classes which will be said in the end of this session.
Yeah. So in the end of the session, we'll have some announcements, and we'll discuss about the course. Like, I mean, what is the benefit of doing that course?
Yeah,
And I'll announce one more thing. So
I've
just be with
already
us.
given most of the details about
Right.
Instagram. You'll be creating a new Instagram kind of thing. So if you
Right.
want to create the next Instagram, please.
Yeah. Okay. So can you take this question from Vidya
Definitely.
Sharma?
Hey Vidya. So I am a second year student, learned HTML, CSS, C++, JS, and Python. I'm learning and I'm interested in towards both. Okay, good path. Should I learn Django or PHP? What else should be learned? Okay, so other than me, whoever, if you ask, they will shout at you for telling the word PHP because it is considered a bad word. I don't know why, but yeah, I would say Python is being the top awesome language right now. If you want to go for artificial intelligence, machine learning, you can use Python. If you want to go for creating an API server, you want to do something so powerful that might get you the best output, go for Python and stuff like that. So Python is really really powerful in this case. So if you're interested in Python, and if you have a basic idea, and if you have the passion to learn Python, please please please, I would suggest go for it. At the same time, for the front end, make sure you're doing the good for the counterpart as well. So HTML, CSS, start learning a bit of JavaScript, then start learning what ES6 has to offer. ES6 is the next version of JavaScript. Each version of JavaScript gets increased and a lot of features get implemented. I also took a small live video on what are all the new features of JavaScript. If you have a good idea that you want to uh, give or like you want to propose to JavaScript community, there is something called as technical community 39, TC39, that will take your ideas and they will actually implement it in JavaScript. So those kind of things are available in JavaScript. So JavaScript is completely an open environment. It is the same with Python as well. But even now, I would say like Python and JavaScript, even though they are competing, and Python is actually really good, you can go to Python for a lot of different reasons. If you have a passion in Python, go with Python. At the same time, don't leave HTML, CSS, and JavaScript behind, because with whatever the knowledge in Python, if you want to show it outside, obviously HTML and CSS are the best thing. Okay, the next question from Kumar is, which database for Instagram in your course? Uh, that's kind of a tough question because I have been looking at different options. Number one, I tried with SQLite 3. I tried with PGSQL. I tried with MySQL. Currently, I'm still in a dilemma which one I should be going with. But I'll be using something called Nex, KNEX, which is a JavaScript broker for connecting with different database drivers. So all you need to know is Nex, and that will enable you to connect with anything. Let it be MySQL, MS SQL, even Access database, everything it connects. So that's good. Hitesh Kumar, which side to lean on, web development side or the Python programming and developing software? Oh, uh, controversial question, I would say. Um, Again, I would say it is based on your passion. So I'm more interested in creating magic in the front end arena. That's what I would say. And with that being said, there are like lots and lots of creativity that I can unleash in my front end way. So how many of you have seen my website? Hey, Shashi, can you kind of like blast my website here, like put my website on this
Yes,
page?
I'll
It is just
share.
for like front end purposes only, nothing else. No personal marketing here. But
No,
uh,
yeah.
even that is there here. Okay,
Let me
so
take that. So, yeah, I'll definitely share that link in the comment section after this
yep.
webinar.
So if you have seen my website, I made my level best to like make it more creative, attractive. That's what people like, right? Like when they see something like magical in their screens, that's more creative and that's more attractive and more fun to do. So I chose the front end path in this case, and it's my personal passion. And if you ask which one to lean, what is your main motive? Do you want to follow your passion, or do you want to earn a lot? Do you want to get a good recognition? I mean, there are like multiple things. Or do you want to work in data and machine learning kind of things? Then I would suggest you to go with Python. But if you want to come to the creative side of it, come to JavaScript world. That's what I would say. So JavaScript has more like interactivity, creativity, and stuff like that, because it's more to deal with front end, the look and feel. So that has a lot of fun working on it.
Yeah, this question I want to take. So this question is from Rahul Raj. The question is DS mastery necessary to be a full stack developer? I'll say, I mean, to get a good job, you will have to be good at DS and algo, because in the interviews rounds, they will be asking the algorithm coding questions.
Uh,
And to crack those rounds, I mean, you should have a good knowledge of DS and algo. Praveen, you
uh,
want to add something?
but actually, I would like to contradict with you.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
As an immigrant in UK, I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to go for new jobs, like try to attend interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to say, a lot of people have been like more involved and interested in data structures. I believe
Mm-hmm.
that might be a real reason for Indian workplaces. But for the past 3 years of my interview experience, I haven't seen even a single person asking me to write a Fibonacci series or any kind of like explain this data structure, except in places of Amazon and Facebook interviews. Those
Mm-hmm.
are only the two interviews where I attended. They asked about anything related to data structure, but other places they were just asking me how I would approach this problem, how I would
Mm-hmm.
solve this problem. And I would really agree with you, Shashi, on if you know data structure, if you learn data structures from maybe you as a person, you have been like teaching data structures in such a way that you also try to train people on the way how you will be achieving, I mean like approaching the problem itself. So there is a
Right.
problem, how you would be approaching the solution. So I will be
Mm-hmm.
generally taking the backtrack of solution. Okay, so fine, this is the problem I have, this is the solution I have. So from this solution, how I will be taking to the problem, this is what I would think. I would be thinking in the reverse way. So I know
Mm-hmm.
what the solution I need, and for that what all things I need to do. Okay, so here, from the problem I don't know how I will be going, but from the solution I can backtrack. So that's what I generally do for every problem that I face, and for every mentee I mentor. I just say, okay, so this is the solution you have, right? Start from the solution, come to the problem, you would have already solved the solution. That's what I would say.
Okay. The next question is from
Data
Shruti.
science.
Yeah, so it's your turn.
uh Data science, there are like mixed feedbacks available right now. Some people say like don't go for data science, some people say go for data science. So it's completely like 50-50 here in this case. When you ask me personally, I would say data science is one of the best things, because the company that I worked in my work previously in my last month, it was kind of like an analytics company. We created, it's like Google Analytics for games. So in that part, data science are like the core of that company. So it obviously depends on the company, your passion. See, I keep saying this for every single person: follow your passion, follow your passion, follow your passion. I'm just doing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, guys. And in India, I don't think I can, whenever so I had to come back to India after my graduation in UK. I worked with Accenture for about like 1.5 years. After working with 1.5 years, so I worked with Accenture for 2.5 years. But by the time of 1 year or 1.5 years, my parents and my relatives forced me to come to India. And when I asked them, like, see, I'm passionate on React JS, sorry, I didn't say anything about React JS, but I was saying I'm passionate on front end, HTML, and CSS. People were not raising the bar more than like 25,000 rupees per month. But here in the UK, I was earning like 2.5 lakhs per month at that time, which was like completely clear, right? So the complete scenario in India is completely different to what it is here. So that's one thing which I wanted to say. Also in the
Mhm.
US, you get like double the time of the salary that I get in the UK, but still I don't want to go to US. That's a personal reason, and everyone knows what is the reason as well. That
Yeah.
reason. Okay, and another thing which I wanted to say is, when you try to follow your passion, no matter if it is like giving you a high paying job, or whether whether it is like everyone's sought out after job or something like that, you will find it really happy when you are working. You don't feel like it's a burden to work, whereas it's going to be like a passion. So that's the reason I keep working even when I'm jobless. Like last month I'm completely unemployed, but last month was the month I was like completely busy with all these things. Like I took up extra projects and working on a lot of different variety of websites, trying to do a lot of new things. So I didn't feel like so at the same time, like when I was working in a company, I didn't feel like I was working. Oh my god, I need to go work. Oh, I hate Mondays kind of feel. Never happened for me. So when you feel like if you follow your passion, and if you get, I mean, it's funny, right? Let's say if I love chocolates, eating ice creams, etc., I really love it. I want to do that, and if I also get paid for it, it's going to be awesome, right? So that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years. Charu, how do you think this corona situation and the recession will affect placements? um, it's a personal advice for all the people who are seeking placements. Don't keep your trust fully on companies where your trust goes on other things, right? So you will be dependent on a company to offer you a job. Try to create a job. That's what I did. So for example, the moment when I started my course in masters in cloud computing in Leicester, I had this entrepreneurial feel, and I wanted to create some kind of an impact. For example, I'm very much passionate on front end HTML and CSS. Let's say in India, if I go there and come back to India and I say that I'm good in HTML and CSS, people say you are just a painter. You just stay outside, and when we need you, we will call you and we will just pay you like pennies. That's it. That's all. That's all they used to say. But with this why is this same front end raised to such a bar in the UK? In UK, you could see that they think about the accessibility, the AAA accessibility standards, etc. If you know how to use the AAA accessibility standards, it's just another tag, another attribute in HTML. If you know that your bar is raised, like generally a front end person will earn around like 1.5 lakhs per month in UK for fresher. But if you know these nitty gritty things about the accessibility, uh, WCAG 2.0 accessibility, the rich internet applications thing, it's just one more attribute in the HTML. Your bar will be raised to like 3 lakhs per month. That's how things are shown seen here. So what I would say is you should create opportunities of your own. Try to find out where exactly is your skill and talent respected. That's one thing which I would say. And with respect to whether corona situation will affect the placement, let it affect or let it not affect, but corona situation will give you a lot more freedom to work from home, and this way you have a very large opportunity. For example, if you want to work with the companies in the UK, even we are like kind of like hiring. Like right now, my company, my team, we want a lot of people. And I would say, what I would say is, there are a lot of awesome people from third years, fourth years in engineering, or doing their degrees, or people who are not even doing their degrees, they are actually doing a really good job and working it. So it's like something like that. I'm from South India, guys. So if you know to do a dosa, you are selected. You don't need to have a like a degree or a certificate. Who cares about certificates nowadays? You prove your talent by showcasing yourself in GitHub or Stack Overflow or your portfolio. That actually speaks for you. So this way, if you try to showcase, corona situation will be like really a huge positive impact on you, because um, people are really looking for people to like developers to start work, and we are looking for like I'm personally looking for my team member who is good with React or something like that. So that's the reason I found it was very difficult for me to hire people from being based in UK. I want to hire people who are in India, because I mean, as an Indian, I can express myself better, the rapport will be very helpful or something like that. Let's say something that's a made up reason. Okay, in that case, if I want to hire someone and I want to work with someone, if I feel more better, there are like loads and loads of restrictions in a normal scenario. In this corona scenario, everyone is supposed to work from home, so I can easily, if there is a person who is working on React, okay, go for it, I'm gonna pick it up, something like that. So we can make ourselves in a positive situation with the corona effect. All right, my passion is on cybersecurity. There is huge demand for cybersecurity at this stage, because obviously there are like a lot of hackers. I mean, like hackers in the sense, I'm a growth hacker. Hacker is not actually a bad word. There are a lot of you know how do I actually, people with malicious intention. So black hat hackers, I would say, let me call them as black hat guys. Okay, so these black hat hackers are growing a lot. Um, there are people who are white hat hackers and there are people who are gray hat hackers. So comparing with all these things, obviously OWASP, OWASP is like, let me try to get the right name for it. It's OWASP Foundation is an open web application security project. It's a community project, and people are like in demand who are having the knowledge and the way they can approach the problems of OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. So always there is a possibility, like there is always on demand for security, cyber security professionals like you. So yes, 100%. How do you get a job in UK or the US? I'm not sure about the US. I don't even know if there is a scope for US jobs right now. So I'm, and moreover, it's just I don't know, so I don't want to talk about US. With UK, there are two ways. Well, come here for study, show your prove that you are really worth for the companies here. Easily you can switch from your student visa to a work visa. That's one way. Other way is to, like, showcase a lot of things. You can see how much effort I'm putting in, like, selling myself, marketing myself as a person, as a brand of me. So that's something which people look for. Soumya, hey Praveen, what is that keeps on going? Sometimes at the end of the day, it just ends me going back to the place I was before. Do you think for a long career path, you need a specific expertise? I really feel the same thing that what you just said. Okay. So when I was in Accenture, I was working for 2.5 years. And if you ask me what is my experience in Accenture, I couldn't say anything particularly solid. I've been working with front end for like long time, but if you ask me one specific thing I worked in this 2.5 years, there is none. So that's how the life is. Don't get demotivated because of that. You don't really need a specific expertise, but definitely it will be helping you in the long run. There is no doubt about it. But if you are a jack of all trades in a particular field, for example, let me consider myself. I'm good with front end, React, Node, a bit of back end in the sorry a good enough bits of backends, in the sense of I know PHP and JavaScript in and out in backend. In that way, I can consider myself as a full stack developer. There were like some people who were like, frowning at me for telling that I'm a full stack developer who doesn't know Java. I don't know Java. Sorry, Shashi, you can teach me later, but even if you teach me, it's gonna be a bit weird, because I kind of like developed a hatred towards Java. That's the reason. But you tell me, like in your own words, what do you think? Is Java really necessary for this age, on this day, to become a full stack developer? You tell
Okay,
me.
so yeah, the idea is a lot of companies are still using Java for their enterprise
That's true.
applications, right? And that's why they need a lot of Java backend developers, and there's a need, of that thing in the market. That's why a lot of
So
engineers are
apart from the
learning that
need,
thing.
yes, we
Mhm.
know that Java is inevitable because of its legacy. Let's say even JavaScript is like pretty new, really. Node.js
Right.
came only like like 6 years ago. React.js
Mhm.
came just 4 years ago, and they both are like just now they are pushing themselves with the competing with Java and other big
Mhm.
technologies. But before
Mhm.
that, for about 20 years, 30 years, Java was the biggest thing. From I believe Java was started like around in the 90s, let's say even
94,
90.
95. 94, 95.
94, 95. 25 years of Java cannot be broken. The record cannot be broken by the JavaScript which came just 5 years ago, right? So there is
Right.
that is the only reason. So in case if there was JavaScript like back then, I would what do you think as a Java person? You tell me, will JavaScript survive or Java survive?
Okay, so I mean, there are a lot of features like multi-threading, which is in Java, but you don't have
We are
multi-threading
bringing
in
that into
JavaScript.
Node.js. Node.js working group has already implemented multi-threading, and nowadays asynchronous IO is already there. So
Yeah.
one more thing.
Okay.
What next?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, Java syntax is quite similar to the old language like C and C++. So that's a great advantage, right? Let's say if I'm
I hate it.
learning. Okay. Yeah. So my first language was C.
Hmm.
That's what I learned in the first semester. That's why I learned Java easily, right? But the syntax of JavaScript is quite different. Like I mean, like the syntax is quite different, right? So personally, it's easier for me to write code in Java than the JavaScript. But again, the future of JavaScript is really bright because you can do both the front end and back end in Java. Sorry, JavaScript. And in fact, I also worked on front end using React.js, and that was good. I enjoyed that.
So you loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Like, I mean, React.js is a really good thing.
I can see. I have the confidence that even though you are a Java superstar, I can make you
No.
brainwash in such a way that okay, I don't want Java anymore. I'll start working on JavaScript hereafter. I have that confidence.
Okay, that's great.
So now I got the answer from you, like literally from yourself. I've got the answer. So
Okay.
that's it, guys. Case solved.
Yeah.
JavaScript wins.
Yeah. I just want
Let's
to,
see.
yes, I just want to ask one question, which is very important. Like, how important is the open source contribution? Like, if let's say if I'm an open source contributor and I have a lot of projects on GitHub, so how that thing will help me to, get a lot of job or get a lot of
Um,
interview calls?
Right. Open source contribution can
Yeah.
also count Stack Overflow's contribution as well. So if you say me, I've got like hundreds, and I guess I got like around to be honest 300 and few, like it's like 300 to 310 repositories in GitHub profile, and I don't see a huge impact on it, except which my GitHub graph, you see, that actually talks a lot. So even though I have got like 300 repositories, everything like 90% of them are like forked repositories. The only thing that are like really um, active, or like the repositories that I completely contribute, like daily contribute on a daily basis, there will be only three or four. So that actually proves your shows your contribution thing, and that could be a bit of like a mixed reviews from the employers. But if you see a lot of times, I would suggest going open source, go for Stack Overflow, answer a lot of questions. In that way you can really show your unique original expertise. So someone asks you a question on a technical topic and you're trying to explain it in your own words. This is almost like an interview, right? So if you go for an interview, they might ask you, so to explain about yourself, like leave the explanation about yourself. That's a common question. So explain, how do you solve this problem? Okay, go check out my Stack Overflow answers, the profile, everything. So that way you can easily, like, explain how you would be explaining it to a beginner, explaining it to a small person, etc. So that would actually work out. So that, I guess, that would be what I would say for this answer, right?
I just want to show you the course, like how exactly you have designed the course and what are the features in that course. So
Sure,
let
go
me
ahead, share the course. Okay, so this is the full stack development course which I'm planning to take in a few couple of months, and it is gonna be like, I would say the bonus of this course will be a complete stack thing. The reason being, we will be learning the basics of Git, basics of front end, basics of JavaScript for the initial phase. So with the basics being strong, we will dive directly into React.js and Node.js, where you will be learning React.js from the basics, and we will be creating something tangible like a software or something like that. So here what we will be looking at is we will be creating something called as Leadstagram, which is a combination of LinkedIn and Instagram. See, I'm always a copycat, right? So I want to take inspiration from somewhere and I need to create something. So, but this particular idea is an original idea. So, Leadstagram is like the combination of LinkedIn and Instagram, which is helpful for leads generation, which comprises of a complete stack. So in the complete stack, when I say complete stack, what we will be learning is we'll be learning of the basics of all these GitHub, how to do pull requests and other things, version control systems. Then we will start with the front end and the responsive web design, which is mainly required for a lot of different things. Then we will go with the JavaScript fundamentals. Once we learn all these fundamental things, we will start with a good idea about what exactly the Leadstagram project is about. Shashi, do you want to expand the session 5?
Yeah.
So here we will see what exactly is the motivation and objectives, what tech stack we will be using. Then we will start with the visual design. Visual design is one of the main parts where we will be working on how the look and feel of the project looks, the application looks, and stuff like that. Then after that, going forward, we will be starting to work on the original project on using React.js itself. Then we will start working with the data, then how we will be conditionally rendering some components. Then after finishing a bits and pieces of the front end, we will start with the back end. We will learn what exactly is Node.js, how React.js can talk to Node.js through REST APIs. What are actually REST APIs? Then in REST APIs, what are all the different methods that we will be using? Then let's go with the databases. Inside databases, what are all the different types of databases that Node.js supports? Node.js actually supports everything, and we have a driver for every single database server. And then we will see something about session handling. Then we will set up our own REST API for the front end, which is Leadstagram. This is the Leadstagram API. Then we will be connecting the REST API with the front end using Ajax, Axios, library, etc. Then after that, we will start working on the styling and componentization. As I said you before, I don't want to repeat myself, which is the same thing. So I don't want to repeat any components. So one component, if I try to change, it will be affecting the other thing. So componentization and styling is one of the major crucial things in full stack applications. And finally, this is a bonus thing. We'll be deploying and hosting the application using continuous integration and continuous delivery. Also, we will be deploying it to web servers using Netlify and mostly Netlify for Node.js, and we'll be using GitHub pages for hosting the React application. Or if you are more interested, you can actually talk to me in the WhatsApp group or anything, the community, and we can actually learn a lot in this in case of like, how
Yeah.
we can work on different scenarios using VPN and other things. Sorry,
I just want
VPS
to
and other things.
Yeah, I just want to announce one more thing, which is
Sure.
so currently you can get a discount of 2000 INR. So the coupon code is early bird. So if you are enrolling in that course right now, you can get the bonus of 2000. I mean discount of 2000 rupees. So we'll be sharing this. I mean the link of the course in the comment section, and you just need to register for the course, and you will get the the discount. Apart from this, I just want to show one more thing. Let me do that. Yeah, sorry, just want to actually show one more thing. Okay. Sorry, really sorry for the.
Shashi, most of the people are telling the price is too high. Do you want to explain something on that?
Okay. Okay. Let me first share that thing. Then I'll be. Let me share the. Okay. Yeah. So we are. I mean, we have started a new initiative that is called the counseling thing. So you can uh, have a conversation with our course consultant, and he will be guiding you for the course and for your career. So you can simply, you just need to fill the form. So we'll be sharing that link as well. So you just need to fill a form, and our course consultant will help you to like what exactly, I mean, which courses that you should choose, and what exactly should be your learning path to be better at development, and to be better at coding. So that's the one way. So we'll be sharing these links in the comment section after the webinar. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the one question was like the about the pricing. Currently, I mean, we have a discount of 2,000 rupees, so you can use that coupon code to get the discount. The idea is, of course, I mean, you are learning from expert like Praveen sir. So right, and I mean, it this course is will have 16 sessions, and you will learn front end, you learn back end. So and you will have a project like Instagram. So I think the I think the price is just, I mean, it is justified, right? If I want to add I mean, the biggest thing about this course is like you are learning from someone who has contributed to the code of React.js and Node.js. So he is himself a open source contributor, and he has contributed the code to the React.js. So if you're learning this thing from himself, of course, I mean, he can explain like how exactly things are used to build something. So that's the biggest advantage of joining this course. So anything that you want to add, Praveen sir, like why one should join this course?
So one thing will be like it's completely practical oriented,
Mhm.
and yeah, I can't talk anything on the price front because it's been set by GFC, right? So I don't have any hands on that. But yeah, what I would say is it's definitely fully practical oriented, and you get a complete uh, you'll be working like you will be working with a company. So that's something which I can say. So you'll get a practical experience. And what are all other perks you can explain, Shashi, like certificates and
Yeah, I mean, you will have the certificate at the end of the course, and you will have the project based on the Instagram. So of course, I think that project will help you to get the interview call easily, because I mean that is really impressive thing to do. Yeah, and of course you can explore that web page, and you will find all the details like the timings, the start date, and all the other features. And these classes will be live, so you can attend from any location, and you will have the recordings. Let's say if you're missing one lecture or two lecture, then you can watch those recordings to make up those things. Okay, so we are out of the time, so we'll pick, let's say, one more question. The question is from Rohit Sahu. Ravin sir, you can take this.
is it from if we take the experience from the company which is outside of India, will it increase the pay in Indian company? It again becomes a big question for the company that is going to be hiring you. So each and every company is different, and they take multiple strategies. So we don't know what exactly the company is looking for. If you're like matching 100% of the company's requirements, then obviously yes, they will give you the maximum possible from their end. At the same time, if you are like, say, let's say I am starting a new company, I won't be able to pay so much. Then there is this company, like for example the biggest three giants which if they are starting some kind of like an R&D center or something like that, they allocate a large amount of budget. And if, let's say, even Microsoft or Facebook opening a new company in Bangalore or Chennai, in those those kind of scenarios, definitely there will be like huge salary or fat salary package is possible. It totally depends on the company really, but at the same time it also depends on how your skill sets and you as a person match their work environment. So these are a few things that definitely will give you the right answer. It will actually dictate what would be the salaries. Yes, and the question from Maniket, is the course suitable for beginners? It will be a beginner friendly course who are really starting from the basics. And also, as I said you, it is a live course. Shashi, is it possible? I mean, this is the first time ever I'm gonna
Mhm.
start a course here, right? So will I
Mhm.
be able to like interact with the students when I'm taking the course or not?
Right. So we'll have a WhatsApp group, and there will be the mentor and the
Yeah,
student. So you can ask your doubt anytime, and
but during the
we will
live
be there.
sessions, is that possible?
Yes, yeah. So the classes will be conducted live using the Zoom, and on the Zoom app you will have the feature to interact with the mentor. So you
Then
can,
yes.
it's a kind of meeting, right? So you can simply ask your doubts, and you can In
No, no,
fact,
no.
share
If it
your
is if it is
screen.
if it is Zoom, then that's right. Yes, that is possible.
Yeah.
Sweta, what will be the skills required to join the course? Number one will be the passion to learn new things. Secondly, if you know basics of like the first three things, if you know the basics of Git and GitHub, then if you know the basics of very little basics of HTML and CSS and JavaScript, that will really help you. At the same time, we will be like, obviously when we are working together, we will be learning everything around us, right? So it shouldn't be a problem. And moreover, I guess that's those are the three things. So it will be completely practical. So whenever we will be working on it together, so you will be learning a lot, even if you don't know. uh, Most probably it should not be a problem. Basics of HTML, CSS and JavaScript will be a big one.
Sorry, okay. So sorry. Let me select the right question.
Okay.
Yeah. So this question is from Soumya. So this will be the last question of this webinar. So
Okay.
you can.
To be
Yeah.
in the top category of your path of development, what skills you do you think is the ideal stack or role wise? And beyond that, which industry do you think post COVID would be best suited to be in? That's a nice question. Um, Okay. See, there is nothing called ideal stack or something like that. So if you, let's say I love JavaScript, and if I see the trend of JavaScript in is in the top right now, it is rank two. But if it is the rank one, I love JavaScript. How long ever if someone makes me work on JavaScript without paying me a salary, will I be happy? Yes, I will be happy. And at the same time, um, that is the most sought after technology. In that case, that would be the ideal technology, right? So currently JavaScript and Python are doing their best in the top two. I guess the third one would be shared among Java or .NET, I guess. Again, I'm not sure if that is the right thing, but for sure I can say that Python and JavaScript are being the top. And if you are finding it fun and happy to work with it, like comfortable to work with it, please go for it. And the only thing which I would say is follow your passion, and if your passion meets the demands, then that's when it is going to be the ideal thing. So with the facts that is happening right now after COVID, what's going to happen? Well, we don't know when COVID situation will end. That's one thing. Second thing is, a lot of people are like a lot of people are losing jobs, and there a lot of people, they are also getting new job opportunities. So considering all these things, there will be like a lot of changes that might happen in the tech industry, or not only in the tech industry, the whole world is moving towards something totally different. Like for example, the last time a pandemic happened was the Spanish flu in 1918. It went on for like 2 years until 1920. And post 1920, world versus pre 1918 world was like completely different. So we can expect something like that, which could turn positive for few people, could turn negative for few people, could turn disastrous for few people, could turn like completely a different new world for passionate people. So it completely depends. And right now I don't have an answer for it, but let's stay positive and stay hopeful. That's all I could say. And right now it looks like the top IT fields, they are all looking for Python and JavaScript developers. Let's go for it. I don't think there is any end for front end or back Python. So we will try to embrace that.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. And one more thing. So we'll have two more webinars tomorrow and on Sunday with some other mentors and with some other
Sure.
topics. So you guys can you guys can join us. And thank you so much,
No problem.
Praveen. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sure, anytime. And guys, can I actually ask every one of you who is here to connect with me in LinkedIn? We can talk a lot. I love to chat a lot.
Yeah. So we have shared your profile in the
Yep,
video
on the video
description. And,
description as
yeah.
well.
Yeah. So I hope you will get a lot of
So
messages
so
regarding
so
how
don't
to
don't
learn.
don't don't feel like taken aback or something like that. But please ask any question. Let it be anything. If you're asking a question, definitely you have a question. So feel free to ask any kind of question. I'm happy to answer anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us.